What's up, everyone? Scott the TroutHammer here, finally back out on the Oregon surf. It's been too long. I think either September, end of September is the last time I came out to make a serious run at some surf fishing. But it's now officially summer, though it doesn't really look like it, but I mean, that just means more shade, so I can be out here fishing longer. So we are back out at Lost Creek, my usual haunt, at least lately, because this has kind of been my confidence spot. The same spot where I caught that 2.5 pound male last year. I mean, you want to talk about monster surf perch? This place has it. And we're gonna try a few new things today, a few different things on the rig, but before we even get some line in the water, if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button down there and the notify bell next to it. Click all notifications so you guys will be the first to see all the great content that's gonna come from this channel. You gonna be okay there, water? I hope so. High tide's in about an hour, so let's get some line in.
Yep, you saw me. There you go, guys. That's a fish. There you go, guys. That's unreal! Oh, this is such an awesome looking fish. Oh, yeah! All right, guys, check that out.
All right, so the few things we're running differently now. I switched from a double surgeon's loop knot to a dropper loop for my sandworms, but I also found some sand crab imitation plastics from Berkeley Gulp. And we're rocking a 3-ounce weight today because surf's a little rough. I miss that feeling. Ocean around me. You know, the feeling I miss even more is fighting a surf perch. Now, like I said at the start of the video, high tide's in about an hour. There really isn't a best tide to surf fish. I've just personally done a lot better on an incoming tide. But boy, we got some brown water today. A lot of sand getting mixed in the surf today. So I know I've said this before in other surf fishing videos, the way you detect a bite while fishing for surf perch versus a wave. So I get most of my bites right after a wave comes in like that because they are usually riding in right behind that wave. You know, they're surf perch, they're riding the surf. But with a wave, you'll feel a gradual load off the tip of your rod and then it come up, and don't swing on that because that's not the bite, that's just the wave pushing your line down and then letting go. A surf perch, I mean, you'll feel it'll go back and forth, it'll go back and forth. They'll either grab and run or grab and immediately start shaking their head. Their bite feels a lot rougher than a wave, I'll tell you that. Once you catch enough of them, it's kind of hard to mistake. But also stay mobile. Only hang out in a spot for like maybe 10-15 minutes. I usually give a spot about 3 casts, and if I don't get a bite in that amount of time, I'll start moving up and down the beach. Name of the game when you first start out is find the school, and then once you find the school, just lay the hammer down on them. And an important safety tip I mention in every single surf fishing video I do not turn your back on the ocean. I've been hit by sneaker waves. They are scary. But it doesn't matter how big, how strong you are. You know, I'm 6'3", I'm 320 pounds. I'm a vanilla gorilla. And even I know this thing is a lot stronger than I am. Doesn't matter how powerful my legs are, how strong and how sure my base is and how sure my core is. I don't turn my back to this thing. It'll knock me on my back before I can even think to prepare for it. So when you're leaving the water to go to another spot, back out until you get to like, you know, maybe like ankle deep water and then turn and start walking away. But even me right now, I don't think I'm gonna go much further than knee deep today. Really don't see a need to with this surf. Then that 3-ounce weight gets more distance just by virtue of its heaviness. I see a bunch of people fishing down there. I'm gonna go this way where I see no one fishing. Then I see a nice little slope in the beach. That's where I want to fish. Usually a good indicator that slope is heading to a trough, and that's where all the food's gonna be. And of course, where the food is, that's where the fish are. But while you're walking along the beach, look for signs of food. Look for sand crabs. They look just like this. Now, this plastic's actually a pretty good imitation, except for the ones you really want to look for, especially for like using for bait, are the ones that have eggs. It'll be this orange cloud that's on the bottom of them. That's the perch candy. If you see live ones or if you see a bunch of shells around, a bunch of dead ones, good indicator there's perch in the area. Oh, see, there's one sand crab. Sorry, I got a quick glimpse of it before it went under. Oh, no, you see? Carcasses. There's one, there's another. Well, let's see what this spot holds. So if you guys are new to my channel and you guys are curious because you haven't seen my rig before, what I'm running with is an 11-foot Okuma Rockaway surf rod. It's a medium power rod that'll throw up to a 3-ounce weight. I'm rocking a size 40 Fluoroclear Trion with 30-pound braid as a main line going to 15-pound copolymer leader. The nice thing about this rod is it's got zirconium inserts in the guides, so it's a lot more resistant to the salt water. It's got the nice big guides on there, better for distance casting, but it's also a real nice sensitive rod. I don't have to keep my finger on the line to detect the bite. I just had 2 little bites, 3 little bites. Something's playing with it out there. Come on. Well, I've seen a bunch of dead sand crabs here, but besides those small bites, I haven't had any action here. Head a little further down. Okay, that in the water, that's what the sand crabs look like. That's one that got munched. It's pretty deep pretty quickly here. I'd be really surprised if... Look at the size of that jellyfish. Holy cow. That's the biggest jellyfish I have ever seen out in the water with me. As I was saying, it's real deep here real quickly. I'd be really surprised if this isn't just a trough full of food right now. And then I'd be like, what the heck, where's the fish? 1, 2, 3, 4. Lots of dead sand crabs here. Where's the fish? I got another one for you. Thank you, ocean. This is exactly what I need, just a direct shot of salt water to the reel. Oh. Come on. I felt that. Okay, now I'm seeing a ton of dead sand crabs. All right, let's head down the other end of the beach. Now, battery died, so I switched up the rig a little bit, and I found some rocks. Let's see what's here. Well, the fish like to hang out around rocks. That's why Seal Rock is such a good fishing spot, but it's also really popular, and that's the problem. I'm not interested in combat fishing. Hi. So like I said, I switched up my rig. I went to a 3-hook system and switched back down to a 2-ounce lead. Why? I am in ankle-deep water. That is absolutely uncalled for, ocean. The ocean is bound and determined to get salt water in the reel today. Hello. Oh, yep. Started to get bored, started singing a song, and there's my first fish. Well, switching that rig up helped a little bit. Yeah, this will definitely up the confidence for this trip. And yeah, that's a decent sized surf perch. But that's a little guy, so I'm gonna let this one go. Baboski. All right, we are not skunked. We finally found the fish after being here for about an hour. Apparently that's what I had to do this whole time, is start singing a song. Nope, there's another. Okay, I found the school. Finally, geez. They're pretty far out there. Yep, there it is. Yeah, it feels about the same size as the other one. Ooh, there you go. It woke up. This fish just woke up. Okay, nope, that's a bigger fish. That's a keeper size. All right, school of adults have been found, finally. Supposed to be catching all the babies like normal. Yeah, like I said at the start of the video, the name of the game's finding the fish. Now, once you do, just sit still and hammer down on them. They're schooling species, so when you catch one, you're almost always gonna catch more. And by almost always, I mean, I have had times where I've caught single fish off in the middle of nowhere, but it's very rare. They're typically in pretty large schools. And where you catch small ones, you are bound to catch larger ones too. There's always a bigger fish. And sometimes you catch said bigger fish. So it is now pretty close to high slack tide too. So this is good, because typically I've caught fish on a moving tide, either an incoming or outgoing tide. There's something about that actual moving tide that turns these fish onto the bite. I've honestly never done too well at high slack tide or low slack tide. So this is a first for me. It's good, it means I'm learning something. I just realized there's a gigantic rock right in front of me. Glad I saw that when the waves died down. I want to snag on that thing. I mean, I got plenty of tackle, but it adds up quickly when you have to replace it. So another thing about this surf rod real quick is the length of it. So I went with an 11-foot, honestly, simply because I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to fit it in my cab when I, broke it down, fitting it in the cab of my truck. In retrospect, I wish I would have gone with the 12-foot. So I think I can fit that 12 foot in the cab, and that extra foot of length really does make a huge difference in casting distance, but also in hook sets. One of the best things about that, oh, hang on, that was a bite. That was a bite, holy cow. Come back for it. That's close, that's like 20 feet out away from me. But the length of the rod really helps with hook sets. You don't have to move the rod as far to get a really good hook set, like right through the nose of the fish. All right, this one I'm not gonna cast very far. Those bites were real close. Ooh. You're toying with me. These better not be the juveniles moving in. Yeah, that was a quick small bite. That was the bite of a small fish. All right, it's been about 5 casts in that area now without a bite, so the school must have moved on, so should I. We're gonna stick close to these rocks. It's not that big of an area. Might have found the edge of a hole. Thinking the hole actually comes over down south the beach. And the current kept trying to take me this way anyway, so why not just come here? Oh, hey, look at that. Bunch of live sand crabs. Oh my gosh, this whole... All right, I have found the spot to be. And I know some of you are probably saying, Scott, grab one of those and put them on the hook. I've done that a couple of times and it's really not done anything. At least not for me. I'll stick to the sandworms. That was a sure bite. I don't know how that one got missed. All right, well, I had 2 bites in the spot. I'm not ready to move on just yet. It's just, where did they go? I'm pretty sure I've been getting bit by the smaller ones. Yeah, these are tiny bites. Oh no, I wonder if I found a bed of sculpin. Yep, nope, not dealing with a sculpin. You know, I'm actually starting to think that the trail's gone cold going south. We head back north where I was catching fish. Let's go to the northern edge of the rocks and see what happens. Now I'm standing at the edge of the big rocks I saw. A little chance of snagging up on them with them being right beneath me. Getting real sick of these little nibbles and not getting anything I can cook. Jeez, I don't know. It's been about an hour and a half since I've caught a fish. The bite was just absolutely awesome when it was high slack tide. That lasted about 5 seconds. Ever since the tide started going out, there hasn't been anything. I'll try one more spot before I call it a day. All right, it's time to call it. Take my 2 fish tacos and go home. Yeah, so in a nutshell, was it the best fishing trip? No, but did it need to be? Of course not. Any fishing trip is a good fishing trip, especially when this is your playground. I mean, just look at that, just real air. So I learned something on this trip, because a lot of the times I go surf fishing, I do better on the moving tide, either incoming or outgoing. This time it was on that high slack tide. The bite turned on real hot and fast for like 5 seconds and then just died after that. And I've got too much to do at home to stick around for low tide. So I'm gonna call it a trip. I'm gonna ask you guys what you thought down in the comments below. And of course, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down there and the notify bell next to it. Click all notifications so you guys won't miss a video. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on the beach. And as always, tips up, tight lines, and have fun fishing.